Football starts the season with the losing streak. We'll have reaction from students coming up. Plus, soccer struggles in SEC play, and volleyball closes out its non-conference schedule in the Michigan Invitational. I'm Ben Bracken, and this is Tiger Tally. Over on the pitch, Auburn soccer faced SEC opponent South Carolina and fell to the Gamecocks 1-0.
Auburn Tigers soccer took on their second SEC opponent Sunday night at the Auburn Soccer Complex. The Tigers faced the South Carolina Gamecocks in a match that was a battle to the end. The Tigers led the match in both shots and corner kicks, but ultimately fell to the Gamecocks 1-0. The lone goal of the match came at the 29th minute when South Carolina's Savannah McCaskill headed the ball into the net. Fans poured into the stands after being fed barbecue by Auburn men's basketball coach Bruce Pearl. The fans also stayed through periods of rain and cheered the Tigers on throughout the night. Bree Folds led the Tigers with 4 shots on the night. The Tigers battled to the very end, having 7 shots on goal in the second half alone. The Tigers returned to action in a 2-match road trip series, first against Florida on Thursday and then Georgia on Sunday. For Eagle Eye Sports, I'm Sarah Palczewski.
Soccer travels to Florida to face the Gators down in the Swamp on Thursday at 5 and then continue on the road to Athens to face the Bulldogs Sunday at 1. The SEC released the Auburn women's basketball schedule earlier this week. Here's a first look at who the Tigers will be facing this season. You're watching Tiger Tally on Eagle Eye TV, Channel 6.
Hey guys, I'm Sarah Palczewski. Welcome back to the show. The reigning equestrian national champions are opening up this season this Friday. Auburn will be competing against the Ole Miss Rebels at 3. Auburn is currently ranked #1 in the preseason NCEA poll. SEC play is back on the Plains. Let's see how the fans of both teams geared up for the game day.
War Eagle and welcome to Auburn on game day. We welcome in the number 17th ranked Texas A&M Aggies to the Plains. Here we're going to give you an inside look at Texas A&M and Auburn for tailgating. War Eagle!
Howdy! Kick up Auburn!
Tiger and Aggie fans alike came together on game day to enjoy some tailgating festivities. Let's see what the Tiger and Aggie fans have to say about game day on the Plains.
Game day's awesome. I think we're going to do good versus Texas A&M.
Howdy! It's good to be here. We love Auburn. It actually reminds us a lot of home.
Fans had the opportunity to do a vast amount of things for pregame, including playing games and walking around the concourse to see different vendors and what they had to offer as far as prizes, giveaways, and sign-ups. But with SEC play means rivalries. Let's see what this little family had to say.
Well, it's a new family rivalry now that he has been born. Little more divided now.
Mike says that as long as Auburn has shakers or pom-poms, he'll be an Auburn fan.
Whether you say War Eagle or Gig 'em, at the end of the day, we're all here to cheer on the school that we love. My name is Erica Justiniano, and this is Eagle Eye TV.
War Eagle to you, baby Mike. On to kick off, the Auburn Tigers opened up SEC play, falling to the 17th ranked Aggies.
Football opened up SEC play versus the Texas A&M Aggies Saturday night. Lots of exciting things occurred on game day, including the game ball being delivered to Aubie by a drone. Sean White in the Auburn offense set the tone early as they drove down the field to set up this 1-yard Cameron Petway touchdown run to put the Tigers up 7-0 in the first quarter. Cameron Petway led the way for the Auburn offense as he rushed for 123 yards on the night. But it wasn't all good news for Auburn, as Trevor Knight and the Texas A&M Aggies racked up 247 yards passing, including this 51-yard pass to Josh Reynolds in the second quarter. John Franklin III came into the game at quarterback to try to give the Tigers life in the third quarter. Kerryon Johnson had 60 yards rushing on the night, including a 2-yard rushing touchdown in the fourth quarter. The Tigers fell to the Aggies by a score of 29-16. Auburn will welcome in LSU this Saturday for another SEC matchup. In Auburn, this is Erica Justiniano with Eagle Eye Sports.
The Tigers will welcome in LSU this Saturday for another key SEC West matchup. Kickoff is set for 5. Coming up, we'll have more on this weekend's matchup against LSU and also hear from head coach Gus Malzahn. We'll be right back.
Gosh, Darlene, it sure is amazing how much we have in common.
I know, Larry. We both love 3-car pileups. We both were built in Buffalo.
And we both know wearing safety belts helps save thousands of lives.
Yeah, this is fascinating.
Don't mind Vince. He's getting over a bad breakup.
I know. Janet's picking up the pieces, too. They're in here.
I wish they understood it's all worth it to get people to buckle up.
Hey, lacerated lovebirds, I sense a major crush.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Talk about head over heels.
Welcome back to Tiger Tally. I'm Kelly Hutchinson. Volleyball traveled to Ann Arbor over the weekend. The Tigers fell to the Wolverines 3-0 in the Michigan Invitational Opener. They turned it around in match 2, defeating Colgate 3-1, then fell in the last match against Eastern Michigan 3-1. Volleyball will be back in action to face the Tigers of LSU this Friday at 7. This Friday, the Auburn swimming and diving team will be holding the orange and blue inner squad as it prepares for the upcoming season. The event will be at 4 p.m., and in 2 weeks, Auburn will open up the season in the War Eagle Invitational.
In a press conference Tuesday morning, Coach Gus Malzahn and selected players addressed the media on the concerns of the Auburn program, assuring fans that the Tigers are close to a turning point in the season.
The last 2 losses, I can honestly say, have probably hurt me worse than any of the others. I fully understand our fan base is disappointed, and they should be. Bottom line is we got to coach our players better, and that starts with me. The fact is we're close. Matter of fact, we're real close to being a good team, and we're going to get this thing turned around.
You know, with this adversity that we're facing now, we just kind of reverting back to that and trying to just stay afloat, you know, just trying to be there for each other in such a tough time. To be honest, I think as players, you know, we got to make more plays. Just hold everybody accountable to a certain standard.
Nobody likes to lose. So, you know, obviously these 2 losses, they stung. And, you know, we could have played better. We could have done some things better. But, you know, ultimately, I feel like we're still on a really good spot. We're in a good path. And I feel like these 2 losses could potentially fuel us going into the future. But it does feel like we're really close, you know, especially because, you know, really if you look at the 2 losses we took, you know, they weren't like, you know, major blowout losses. So I do feel like we were just a few steps away or maybe a play here or there away from, you know, really breaking loose. I feel like we'll just do nothing but improve from this point forward.
Auburn faces LSU this weekend on Saturday at 5 p.m. on ESPN, and we'll hold Gus to it to see if he can turn this program around. For Eagle Eye TV, I'm Lauren Christopher.
You just heard from head coach Gus Malzahn, who spoke earlier this week and acknowledged the fans' frustrations and was even apologetic about it, saying that he feels their pain. He also announced that Shaun White will remain starting quarterback for the game. Auburn is now 1-2 through the season. However, many fans are still optimistic about Saturday's game.
We're 1-2. Defense has been pretty good, and they come out every game and play well. Offensively, you know, we got a few things we need to pick up on and fix, but you know, I believe Coach Malzahn will do his part and get the offense rolling.
I think we have a good team. I think it's coaching that's hurting us, to be quite honest.
Well, I think we're doing good considering like all the teams that we've played so far. I think we did really good against Clemson, and they were like the number 2 team.
I mean, it could be going better. Our defense is looking really, really good, which is always nice, but offensively we could definitely be more threatening. JF3 just has so much more ability that you got to put him in there to see where he can go and build him up at least a little bit. I'm predicting a low-scoring game. Maybe we're going to pull it out 21-17.
I think we could win if we pull out our whole hearts into it, and we need support from our fans. So I think if all of us Auburn students get together and cheer on the Tigers, we'll be doing great this weekend.
You know, the season has started off a little rough, but I still have hope in our team, and I feel Gus Malzahn has something that he can fix.
I think this weekend would be a great weekend for the Tigers to turn it around against LSU and a nationally ranked team who's struggled too, but they have a Heisman contender on their team. It'd be a great weekend to see what we could do.
It would be, but I think it's going to be tough for our Auburn Tigers. I mean, LSU's a great team, and they've got a lot of talent, so it'll be interesting to see that matchup.
That's true. Coming up next, we'll check in and see how the Tiger Tally fantasy teams are doing and get predictions for the weekend of college football. You're watching Tiger Tally on Eagle Eye TV. We'll be right back.
Another week has passed and more surprises have surfaced. I'm your host, Erica Justiniano, and this is the Fantasy Football Blitz on Tiger Tally. Here with me are a few members from the Tiger Tally Fantasy Football League who also happen to be our top 3 overall scorers. Jared, Meredith, Micah, how are you all doing today?
Well, Team and McTeamface is on a roll right now, 2-0, so I'm doing very well, but I don't know about these two.
Well, I mean, I'm 2-0 as well, so I guess you could say I'm doing okay.
And I mean, I had a pretty good win this week, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Following week 1, week 2 came with a few surprises. Only 3 teams remain undefeated. Winners from week 2 include Brooks, Joey, Jared, Micah, and Meredith. Another surprise this week was Meredith's team, the Deckers, who were predicted to only score 91.46 points, came away with an impressive 159.72 points, more than doubling her points the week before. Jared's team, Team McTeamface, was also able to keep up the hot streak going as he scored over 110 points for the second consecutive week. Who were some of your key players from this week?
Man, the whole squad was the key players for me. I mean, let's talk about Matt Forte. Matt Forte, 3 touchdowns. I mean, homeboy brought in about 27, 28 points for me. And then my defense, the Carolina Panthers, they did really well. So my whole team are full of MVPs. I can't just pick one person.
I'm kind of the same way. Like this week, Brandon Marshall kind of got hurt and he kind of hurt his knee. And Eric Decker came to play. He scored 19 points and was only predicted to score like 3 or 4. And then Cam Newton, he always does pretty well. So he's been a key player for me already this season.
If Ezekiel Elliott can cut back on the fumbles, I think he'll get even more points than he's had the past 2 weeks for me. And Vikings defense, if they keep it up, I mean, that's probably the MVP of my team right there. And the real team, to be quite frank.
Week 3 matchups include One Last Shiva Blast versus Edomi Long Time, the Deckers versus It's On Like GronkyCon, the Best Team versus Honey Bunches of Oats, Bills Mafia versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Bortles, Team and McTeamface versus the Olivias. Tonight we have a battle of the undefeated teams with the Texans traveling to Foxborough to face the Patriots. With Jimmy Garoppolo suffering an injury late in the second quarter Sunday against the Dolphins, and the duo of Vince Wilfork and J.J. Watt on the defensive side for Houston, how do you all see this game going?
Oh, man. Houston, they've been surprising me lately. The Patriots are unknown right now at quarterback. I feel like they're a new backup quarterback. I mean, they've gone through so many. I forget his name. Brissett, I think it is. I expect them to do well. The New England offense is really easy to run, but I expect the Texans defense to get 2 of them. Just like they did at Kansas City. Kansas City was a good team. They didn't look like it last week. So, give me the Texans. Why not?
I think I'm going to go the other way. I mean, it's really hard to beat the Patriots in Foxborough. I think their record, I don't know how many losses they've had, but it's really, really small since Bill Belichick's come. So I'm going to pick the Patriots because every time I go against them when they're at home, I always lose.
So I guess I have to be the tiebreaker here. That's a tough call between Houston. Houston, everything on paper says you should pick the Texans. They have a healthy team. Everything's fine. They're not playing with a third-string quarterback. But at the end of the day, I'm going with Belichick because he's probably the best coach that we've had in our lifetime. And so I'm just taking coaching over players' abilities in this one.
Should be interesting how that matchup fans out. Now let's talk college football. This week is full of key matchups that could set the tone for the rest of the seasons. Who do you have in the number 19 Florida at number 14 Tennessee? The spread is 7 points, with Tennessee winning 71% odds over Florida.
It's been 11 years since the Vols have beaten the Gators, and I'm going to have a hard time going against that record just because, but records are made to be broken, don't get me wrong. It's on the road. I haven't been thoroughly impressed with Tennessee this year. I feel like they have a really high potential, and every year it feels like they never really reach to what that potential is going to be. So until I see that, which could be this game, I'm not going to pick Tennessee in big games.
Well, I think with the injury to Jack Del Rio for Florida, I think I'm going to go with the Vols. I think this record's going to be broken. The Vols have kind of gone off to like a really shaky start, but I think this is their one chance to kind of bring it back.
Last week they played Ohio. Nothing against Ohio, but it's Ohio, for goodness sakes. No, I'm going to take Florida.
Don't forget App State.
Don't forget App State.
Yeah, that was rough.
I'm going to pick Florida just because they have the defense. I feel like in their system, a quarterback can come in and do decently well, and you don't got to be a good quarterback to beat Tennessee. That's blatantly obvious. I mean, let's throw in a couple of our own people. Let's throw Mike in at quarterback for Florida, and he'll probably get the job done against Tennessee right now.
I wouldn't mind.
We'll see.
All right, the number 12 Georgia Bulldogs at the number 23 Ole Miss Rebels. Odds are that the Ole Miss Rebels are going to take over UGA by 75% spread in the 7-point win span. Who do you guys have?
Look, I know Ole Miss is 1-2 right now. I know that doesn't look good, but Georgia struggled against Missouri. Missouri has literally nobody.
And Nicholls State.
And Nicholls State. Thank you for pointing that out. Ole Miss, they lost to Florida State. They lost to Alabama. They lost to really two really good teams. And Alabama, they came back on. Florida State, they just lost the game. There's no reason for me to pick Georgia in this game. Give me the Rebels.
I think I'm going to go the same way. I think Kirby Smart's magic's about to run out. The fact that they almost lost to Nicholls State is really kind of depressing in my opinion. And also, I think the way Ole Miss played against Alabama, the way they came back, I think that they're going to be able to beat Georgia.
Georgia's really got to figure out what they're trying to do at quarterback position.
Sounds like a team I know.
The old ball coach once said, if you have two quarterbacks, then you have no quarterbacks. You got to have one team. The quarterback's a momentum position. Yes, we are struggling with that here, of course. So for that reason, granted, they are two very good quarterbacks at Georgia, which, is good for them. And I think Eason is going to be good. You saw what potential he had late there against Missouri. But I'm going with you guys. I think I'm going to go hotty-toddy. Gosh almighty.
Gosh almighty.
Now we have the matchup of number 17 Arkansas taking on the number 10 Texas A&M Aggies. What seems to be a close matchup, the spread is only 6 points with Texas A&M being in favor over the Arkansas Razorbacks. How do you feel about that matchup?
Arkansas, they had one good game against TCU. Now, slow your roll. That doesn't mean you're a very good team. You're a good team, but A&M just show that they have a lot of talent. They can compete with a lot of better teams at SEC. Arkansas, I can't take you on this one. Give me the Aggies at home.
I'm definitely going to go with the Aggies, too. The way they played against Auburn, their offense looked to be clicking really well. I don't really know how Arkansas is going to go as they travel on the road to Texas A&M, so I have the Aggies.
I saw a statistic the other week about Coach Sumlin in big games. And at home, I think he's won 2 games. And on the road, as you've noticed in the past years, he's won all of his big SEC games against ranked opponents on the road. So for that reason, as much as I hate saying this, I have to go with Arkansas and Coach Brett Bielema. Yikes.
Yikes.
Moving on to the number 5 Clemson taking on the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. Clemson's favored 79% over Georgia Tech, with the spread being 10 points versus all the other games being only 6 or 7 points. Who do you think is going to take this game?
Oh, man. Well, this is where it gets a little tricky because I'm not picking Clemson to win this game. Give me Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets with the upset at home. The reason because I'm not sold on Clemson. They went, no disrespect to Troy, Erica. They went against Troy, didn't do very well. In the first game, they didn't do. I forgot who they played in the first game. I just know they didn't do very well.
Auburn.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't tell if you're being sarcastic or not there.
Well, that just tells you how this year's went for me at this point.
Yeah.
They played Auburn, didn't look very well, didn't look very good. They played Troy, didn't look very good. They finally played South Carolina School for the Blind or something. They finally won a game. So Clemson, I'm not gonna take you on this one. Come on, you can pick it up.
You still can't get over that you didn't play.
I'm gonna go with Clemson in this one. Although I do agree, I think the triple option will give them fits. That's a hard offense. if you on a short, on just 1 week to get prepared for. If you're playing Georgia Tech, you want them for the first game of the year, or you want them in a bowl game, because then you have at least 2 to 3 weeks to prepare for Georgia Tech's offense. If not, it can be tricky.
Well, I think I'm going to go for Clemson. They did win against Auburn. They did win against South Carolina State. I don't know. I just see Clemson pulling out a win this week.
I still can't believe I forgot they played Auburn.
I can't either.
Maybe I'm just trying to forget this year already.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
Moving on to one of the hottest matchups of the weekend, number 11 Wisconsin takes on number 8 Michigan State. The point spread for this game is 7 points. What do you guys feel like this game is going to turn out to be?
After Auburn, not many people know this, but after Auburn, Michigan State's my team. Let's go Spartans. They played really well last week. Wisconsin struggled against Georgia State. The Panthers, if you didn't know who they were, not many people do. And Michigan State at home, Wisconsin struggling last week. I think it'll be a close game, but give me Michigan State.
I'm going to go on the same page. I'm definitely going to pick Michigan State. The fact that Wisconsin almost lost to Georgia State, I lost a little bit of respect for them. Their defense is really good, but I'm taking Michigan State.
Yeah, Michigan State's a team that's been getting no respect at all at a national scale this year. Wisconsin was a team that you thought, okay, they beat LSU, and now we're looking back at that as, okay, was that really a good win, or what does that actually mean? Since it's at Michigan State, I'll go with Michigan State. Go Sparty.
Go Sparty.
Now to what could be the closest matchup of the entire weekend, number 18 LSU at Auburn. Now, the spread for this one is closer than any of the other games. It's only a 4-point spread. Who do you feel is going to take this game?
The Tigers, right, Jared? Sorry, did I take your joke? I took your joke.
I wasn't going to say that. But I will say the one thing I don't want, I don't care how this game goes. I got to say this first. I do not want to end up on Leonard Fournette's highlight tape again like last year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you hear me, defense?
Retweet.
Like you saw that Bleacher Report video? That guy got thrown through the ground. I don't want that. But that being said, let's take it back. LSU, Auburn. Look, right now, it's not Sean White's fault what's going on with the offense. Nope. It's not Sean White's fault at all. I do think John Franklin's more explosive. He can create more big plays for Auburn. We're used to the big plays. That hasn't happened a lot. Sean White's that quarterback, I think will be okay. But Leonard Fournette, that offense is finally clicking. They found their quarterback. That defense for LSU, it's LSU. Mm-hmm. Even at home, Auburn's going to lose by 8 to 10 points, so give me LSU.
I think I'm going to go with LSU as well. The Auburn offense just hasn't been clicking well. And LSU's defense, like you said, it's LSU. So I think that Leonard Fournette's going to run over us. I'm sorry. I think we're going to be on the highlight reel again. Our defense has improved from last year, though, so maybe not as many highlights. But I have LSU.
Boy. I think since you guys went with LSU, both of you, I think I'm going to end up going with Auburn in this one. But this is my X factor here. I think what it's going to come down to is both offenses, if we're being totally honest. Sure, they have Leonard Fournette. Sure, they found a quarterback. But at the end of the day, their offense is still not so good, just like ours. So I think it comes down to which defense gets a defensive turnover and gives the offense a short field. I think this is one of those games that's like maybe 9-6 or something like that.
I hope not.
Well, it might be. I hope not too, but I feel like that's what it's going to be. Because of that, I pick Daniel Carlson any day of the week. Therefore, I take Auburn.
That's my boy right there. Daniel Carlson for Heisman. Make it happen, everybody. Well, that's all for Tiger Tally today. Be sure to follow our league on NFL.com and like Eagle Eye TV on Facebook.